Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Layla and for today's video I am tier ranking credit cards. If you've been here for a while or even if you've just watched a couple of my videos, you probably know by now that I really love credit cards. And the reason I say that is because I use them to earn more money. I make a lot of money from credit cards. That is from me opening credit cards to receive their bonuses, but also I purchase everything on credit cards that I can so that I can get cash back for it, points for it, whatever that card is offering. However, with all of these credit card charges, I never pay interest. I haven't paid interest on any debt or any credit card in years. I literally am just making as much money as I possibly can with these credit cards. So this is not for everybody. I understand that some people absolutely despise credit cards, and if that's your situation, completely understandable. If you are not a responsible credit card user, then this video is probably not for you either. I never want to encourage people to open a credit card if they can't use it responsibly. If you have a spending problem, or if you have revolving credit card debt where you have credit card debt that is carried over from one month to the next and you're paying interest on it, anything like that, I don't recommend you try to do this. If you have credit card debt, I suggest paying that off. And if you get to a point where you can use credit cards responsibly, then you can start this journey of, opening them for bonuses and then using them for cash back. At this point, I have 10 credit cards and I use the bulk of them, but I'll kind of explain them as I go through these tier rankings. In my lifetime, I've probably had a total of 12 to 13 credit cards, so I've only closed a couple of them. I typically don't close credit cards because if you can keep them open, especially your older credit cards, that's going to help your credit score, and I do try to do that, so I usually don't close them. But I will be mentioning one of the credit cards here that I have closed. So let's go ahead and get to it, and I'm gonna start by telling you which tiers I have on my little tier ranking chart. The bottom tier, or what I'll call tier 5, is labeled never use, and that's pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, I never use that credit card. Tier 4 is labeled as only opened for the bonus, and yeah, I have quite a few of those. Tier 3, I highly recommend, but I don't use, and there's a couple of cards, maybe only one card, that will go under that category. I'll have to see as I go, but I will explain why I recommend it, but why I don't use it. Tier 2 is I love it, but ... And then tier number 1, the top tier, is called my fave, which of course means it's my favorite credit card and I probably use it more frequently than any of the others. We're gonna hop over to the tier chart, and these are in no particular order. I literally just uploaded PNGs of these credit cards, so I'm just gonna go through them as they were uploaded. First one here is Chase Sapphire Preferred, and this is a card that I recently opened. I opened this in December 2023. And I feel like I haven't had it long enough to really give it a true ranking, but honestly, I'm gonna put it at only opened for the bonus. They use points, so it came with a 60,000 point bonus, which is you can redeem for $750 worth of travel if you book it through Chase. Now, I do have another Chase credit card, which we will talk about when we get to that, but with this one, I have found that the benefit of having it, aside from the bonus, I don't really use this card. I already spent the money. I think I had to spend $4,000 to get that bonus. Aside from that, I haven't really used it because I have the other Chase card, and that one honestly has better perks with it. This one I may use for certain things. But yeah, aside from the bonus, I feel like this card, from what I can tell so far, doesn't have that great of a point system. It doesn't have categories that I spend in frequently or that I would use this card for very frequently. Next is Upgrade, and this one is also going to be only opened for the bonus. Upgrade was a little weird. So this is a credit card, but it kind of acts as I would say a line of credit or even a personal loan. It's really strange. They advertise it as a credit card, but it also, when I opened it, it came with a checking account. So I don't know, it was really confusing at the time, but it was a $400 bonus, maybe $450. And all I had to do to get that $400 bonus was, I think, make 3 purchases and then pay for those purchases. If I recall correctly, all I did was make 3 $5 purchases, not even you know? So I was like quickly able to get that bonus, and that's it. I haven't used it since. So I definitely recommend it for the bonus. I think now, I know I have a referral link, and I think now the bonus is 200, but just overall it's kind of a strange thing. It does have like a point system with it, or cash back, I believe, but because of the whole personal loan situation or line of credit thing that goes with it, it's just a little bit confusing, but definitely worth it for the bonus, especially at the time that I opened it. And I've just left it open since then because, I don't know, it hasn't caused any issues. And plus it has the referral program. So I do like that because obviously with this platform, I can refer people and that helps them, but also helps me. Capital One, Venture One. Now, I opened this a while ago, so I honestly can't remember. I feel like it had a bonus, but I'm going to put this under never use. And that doesn't mean I don't recommend it. Like, this might be a good card for people. I wouldn't say I highly recommend it, so it's not going to go there. I want to say that this did come with a bonus. I genuinely can't remember right now, and it probably still comes with a bonus, but I just never ever use it. There are no benefits to using it, you know? Like, there's no extra cash back, there's no points with it, at least not that I'm aware of. Or if there is cash back that comes with it, then my other cards are better than this one, you know? So I just literally never touched this one. But I think it could be a good fit for a lot of people. There was a time when I had less credit cards, of course, and I remember I used this pretty frequently, and I did get some cash back, but I really don't remember the last time that I used this. Next would be Bank of America Cash Rewards. Now, I'm going to put this under I love it, but, and I want to put it there because it's not one of my favorites. I can't give it a tier 1 spot, but I use this pretty frequently because of their rotating bonus category. It's not rotating based off of them. You get to select which category you earn 3% cash back in. And I find myself using this pretty frequently when it comes to online shopping or sometimes with travel. So every month you can change which category you want to receive 3% cash back in. And yeah, like I said, you can do either online shopping, you can do travel, I think you can do groceries, gas, and then maybe restaurants. I've really only rotated between online shopping and travel. Like, for example, I did a lot of online shopping in January as well as the last couple of months before that. And almost all of that I put on this credit card because I was getting more cash back through this in combination with like using Rakuten and, you know, those things compared to using a card that would just give me 2%, you know? 2% is still better than like 1%, but for me to get an extra 1% is pretty good because most cards don't offer anything extra for doing online shopping aside from like certain stores. And then when it comes to travel, there are better travel cards out there, but those usually give you higher cash back if you actually book a hotel through their platform, like Chase, for example, or if you book a flight. But if you're paying for Uber or a Lyft ride, something like that, then I would usually use this Bank of America card because I oftentimes don't get a higher percentage if I use Uber with a different card. Next would be You Promise. Barclays You Promise MasterCard. This was my first credit card ever. Was it? I think I had a Macy's credit card before this one. I'm not even going to talk about that. I closed it. I got it so that I could purchase a gift for somebody, paid it off, and then canceled it because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. So that might have been my first card. But this was like my true first credit card, and I would say never use. I literally only keep this card open for my credit score because it does affect your credit score if you close older accounts because they want to see that you have old credit history. And this card is over 12 years old for me. So if I were to close it, this would really affect my... I mean, honestly, if I look at my credit score now, because I've opened so many cards in the last year and in the last 2 years and even like 3 or 4 years, that is the worst area of my score. Like credit age, that's the worst area because I have all these new cards. So if I were to close this one, it would make that even worse. So I just keep it open, and I really wouldn't recommend that card because I don't think it comes with a bonus. I know when I opened it, I don't recall it coming with a bonus, and then also not a good cashback system. Citi Double Cash. This is my newest card. I'm going to put it under I love it, but. So I opened this just in January 2024 for my business specifically because you get 2% cash back. It does have a really easy bonus. So all you have to do is spend $1,500 in the first 6 months of opening, and then you get a $200 bonus. So I think that's really easy to achieve actually within like a month or two. Yeah, for me, this is strictly going to be used for business expenses, and I wanted to open a new credit card just for me to use for my business expenses. And I have another card that gets me 2%, so I didn't want to use that one, but I wanted another one that lets me do that. And of course, I'm going to try and open a new one so that I can get a bonus, and I luckily got approved for that. I'm putting it under the I love it, but I mean, I would say this is also too fresh of a card for me to give a huge opinion on, but aside from the double cash, there's no really extra perk with it, but so far so good. A similar card would be Wells Fargo Active Cash, and I'm going to put this under highly recommend but don't use. And that's because I actually closed this credit card because I was never using it anymore because I have a different card that offers 2% cash back. At the time of me opening this card, I did open it for a bonus, but I also opened it because I wanted 2% cash back on everything. And I used it for quite some time. I would say maybe close to a year. I was using this for all purchases that I couldn't get a higher cashback amount on. So if I were to go to Walmart or something, because that doesn't count as groceries. If I were to go to the doctor and pay for a copay, if I was going to the gas station and one of my other cards wasn't offering cash back, like extra cash back on gas, then I would use this card. But yeah, ultimately, I opened up another card that was offering better perks and 2% cash back, and I just preferred to use that one, which I'll talk about that in a minute. So I decided to just close this. Overall, I just don't like Wells Fargo as a bank. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm still going to recommend it because I think this is a really good beginner card because you not only get a bonus, but then you get 2% cash back on everything. So if you don't want to have to pay attention to the categories and open all these different credit cards like I do to like get the best value, then I think this is a good beginner credit card so that you can just get 2% on everything and not have to think about it. Discover It is next, and I'm going to put this under I love it, but because I do really love this card, especially the first year that you have it open. So whatever you earn in cash back for the first year, Discover matches that. So if you get $500 of cash back from this Discover card the first year that you open it, even if it's like June to the next June, then Discover will give you an additional $500. The reason I put it under I love it, but is because I really only use this in specific quarters. So they do rotating bonus categories. And this means that you get 5% in certain categories each quarter, and those change every quarter and every year. So for example, well, some of them stay the same. For example, usually in quarter one, they're going to give you 5% cash back on groceries, sometimes like streaming services. Quarter two could be like PayPal and restaurant. It just varies from year to year. And then quarter four is when I typically use it because that's when they do 5% on Amazon.com. And so, if I go shopping on Amazon, then I would use this to get 5% cash back. Aside from that, there's no extra frills with it. There's no extra perks with it, which does make it kind of simple to use. You do have to activate those bonuses, but they remind you of it, and it's super simple. Like you just click a button in your email and you're good to go. No annual fee, and they do have a bonus. So when you open, you get a $100 statement credit. That one I don't mind getting a statement credit because it was so easy to get that bonus. I have my referral link down below actually, so I would appreciate if you use that because you'll still get the $100 bonus. You literally just have to use it. There's no spending limit. You just can charge $2 on it and get $100. Next up would be the Barclays View card. This is going to never use. I opened this in 2014 this used to be a Barclays Apple credit card. And at the time, I remember I was using like a tablet / laptop thing in college and it shut down. And up until that point, I had never used, like, I had never purchased a MacBook or anything. And that was like the third PC that I'd gone through that had like just shut down or stopped working in some way. So I was like, that's it, I'm going to a MacBook. And at the time I was in college, I did not have a lot of money, as y'all know. So I had to get a credit card. So I got the Barclays Apple credit card so that I could finance my new MacBook, which was nice at the time because I did not pay any interest on the MacBook. I think I just had to pay it off within 12 months. So I was able to do that and didn't pay interest on it. At some point over the last few years, this card turned from Apple into what it is now. So honestly, I don't even know if this is the right one. This is what my card looks like. Like, they sent me a new one, but I literally never use it. This is the same as with the You Promise. I just use it every 6 months to 1 year. They remind me if they're about to close it, but I just put like a $2, $5 charge on there so I can keep it open, since it is an old card for me. So yeah, keep it open for the purpose of my credit score. But aside from that, there's no good perks with it. I did notice that they started adding some cash back, but I've never paid enough attention to be like, hey, that's worth it. So I don't use it. Next up is the Capital One Venture X card, and this is going, the first one, under my fave. I opened this card a little over a year ago. Now this one does come with an annual fee. It is a $395 annual fee, but I find it to be worth it. Back when I opened this a little over a year ago, I did initially open it for the bonus, so it did come with a $750 cash back after spending, I think I had to spend $4,000. And I was able to do that. And with that bonus, plus the other cash back that I earned from this card, I was able to cover a full Airbnb stay in Costa Rica. So we stayed in Costa Rica for 6 nights, and the Airbnb was completely paid for because of this card. So obviously paying the $395 fee was definitely worth it for the first year, because also they give you a credit, a travel credit, and I was able to use that. I can't remember the amount. I want to say it's $300. Like, I know that the $395 they give back to you. You actually get back like $400 throughout the year. So it's basically like no annual fee. So to me, it's definitely worth it. You also get 2% on all purchases with this one. So there are some other ways to get extra cash back, like if you book travel through Capital One, if you purchase other things specifically through Capital One. But I really, at this point, now just use it for the 2% perk. And if I, like I was saying before, if I go to a random store that doesn't have a higher cash back, like Walmart, or if I go to just a random store, if I go to the doctor and pay a copay, this is the card that I'm using because I get 2% cash back. And that's why I ended up closing this Wells Fargo 2% cash back, because I would rather have the points over here so that in the future I can use them for travel. I actually have quite like several $100 worth of cash back just chilling here, because eventually I'll probably use it for travel, because you do get, I think if you book through Capital One, you get extra perks through it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You also get lounge access, which I haven't taken advantage of yet, but honestly, the Atlanta airport, it's just such a big airport that 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to end up in an area, like your terminal is probably not going to be the location where the lounge is. At some point though, I do want to take advantage of that. You also can get like TSA pre-check with this. I think they pay for it, or you get like a discount. You get the priority pass thing. Like, yeah, there's just a lot of perks that come with this card, and I use it pretty frequently. Next would be the Citi Custom Cash card. I love this card. This is my fave. Definitely one of my faves because it's also just so easy to use. It's something I don't have to think about. With the Custom Cash card, whatever category, the eligible categories, you spend the most money in the month or within your statement is where you get 5% cash back. And one of those categories that you can spend money in is groceries. So what I use this for is only groceries. And I know that every time I go to the grocery store, I'm going to use my Citi Custom Cash card, and I'm going to get 5% cash back. I don't use this for anything else because I don't want it to switch over to any other category. I think you can do like pharmacies, you can do restaurants, gas maybe, and then there's a few other like streaming services or something. I can't remember, but for me, it's just groceries, simple as that. And every time I go grocery shopping, I get 5%, and that's incredible. Next up is my Chase Freedom Flex card. This is also going under my fave because I feel like I use it a ton as well. It's kind of similar to the Discover It card, so you do get an open bonus with it. With this one, I think you just have to spend $500 and you get a $200 bonus, so that's a good start right there. In the first year of opening, you get 5% cash back on groceries, which is another perk. Obviously, at this point, I've had it for a few years, so I don't have that anymore, which is why I got the City Custom Cash. This one also has rotating 5% bonus categories. So just like I was explaining with Discover, each quarter has different 5% cash back, and each year they kind of change it around. But it's very similar to Discover. So some quarters it'll be Amazon.com and a couple of other things. Sometimes it'll be PayPal, groceries, gas, that sort of thing. So I do pay attention to the categories, and whatever's relevant to me, I'll typically end up spending on this card. Like if it's 5% cash back on gas, this is the card that I'm using. But what I also like about this is there's just so many other perks with having a Chase card. Like if you look on, they have extra deals, and oftentimes you can get even more cash back by activating those things. So the other day I saw that there was 10% back at Target, which you just activate it, and if you use this card, you would get 10% cash back on your Target purchase, which is, you know, pretty unheard of. This is usually the card that I use for going out to eat. It just depends on, like, if Discover is offering 5% on restaurants, then I'll use that. But outside of that, I would use my Freedom Flex card because you get 3% at restaurants. If I have any pharmacy purchases, I use this card because you get 3% at pharmacies. And then there's some other categories in there where you can get extra, including like Lyft sometimes. So yeah, I would definitely say I reach for this one pretty often. Definitely these three are the ones I use most frequently. And then these are, I mean, these are second place, obviously, because of the tier rankings. But yeah, this is a really good summary. Like, these are the top 6 cards that I use, and these are the top 3 that I'm usually using on a regular basis. Okay, and the final card is this Built credit card. Now this one, this is another image of VentureX. I didn't know how to get it off of here. I accidentally uploaded it, so just ignore that. We're not going to talk about that again. But the Built credit card, I'm going to put under highly recommend but don't use, because I actually don't have this credit card, but I wish I had this credit card when I was living alone in my apartment, because this is the only credit card that I know of where you can get cash back, where you can get points for paying rent. I don't know when this card was open, but when I found out about it, I was so upset because I'm like, that was like a missed opportunity. I could have made hundreds of dollars off of the rent that I was paying for 4 years. And I know that so many people can benefit from this because, yeah, like 1% on rent is unheard of. Now with this card, in order for you to get the 1x points for your rent, you do have to have 5 transactions per statement period. So, you know, you could get your coffee, you could get you're paying for your rent. So that's number 2. If you're buying groceries, you know, you just have to have 5 transactions on the card each time in order for you to get these points back. And of course you have to pay for those purchases too. But it also has other perks. So you can get 3x points on food out or restaurants, and then 2x points on travel, in combination with a number of other perks. So I know that they have something called Rent Day, and on that day you get double the points, excluding rent. So you would get 6% on food out, 4% on travel on rent day. So that's always the first of the month. And there's always extra things on that day too. Like sometimes you can get access to like a workout class for free or something like that. It's random things like that. It may be specific to travel or specific to something with lifestyle, but yeah, each first day of the month it's something different, and I think that's really cool. Since I don't have that card, I obviously am going to put it under that I don't use it, but I highly recommend it because it's something I wish I had in the past. It does not come with any bonus cashback or anything, but to get 1 point for your rent, and then you can use that to help you pay your rent, you know? Yeah, that's exciting. I do have an affiliate link for the Built credit card, so that's always linked down below. For a lot of these cards, I have an affiliate link that is linked in my description box, and I also have dedicated videos for many of these. Some of them I still need to make videos for, but if you are interested in any of these, please check my description box because I would really appreciate if you do use my link, if you found this video helpful by any means. or check out those videos because I go into a lot more detail for the ones that I have made videos on. So those are all the credit cards that I currently have or that I do recommend. I had them in the past, or I do recommend them. In the future, I will definitely be opening more cards. At this point, it has just become a hobby of mine. It's like a game, and you know, why not get extra cash when I can, you know? So I really enjoy the process of opening them and having to pay attention to everything. But I understand it's not for everybody, but if you're in the market for a new card, or if you just want to weigh your options, hopefully this video was helpful. If you end up applying for a card using my link, I really appreciate it. And I do want to say another warning: please be responsible with your credit cards. This is not me telling you to open one if you're not responsible with it, or if it's something that you're not comfortable with. Just please use them wisely and strategically. But otherwise, let me know if you have any questions. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.